Okay, now what I want you to do is just watch. Don't try to do these moves at the same time. Just sit there or stand there and just watch this. Watch me demonstrate, and I'll go over the details of how to do this posture correctly. You heard me when I was leading it that I've mostly focused on the gross outer movements. There's a lot of subtle movements and subtle timings that you develop naturally through practice and with the insight of a good instructor. Okay? From slant line, you'll turn to the right. When we do the turning to the right, there's like a spiral idea, so that the shoulders kind of turn, but the hips also kind of turn. And when you turn to the right, it puts more of your weight on the leg that it's bent. So when you do your first turn, you won't really have to think about shifting onto this leg. You just turn, and the foot will release, and then you step up. It's important that you get approximately the right foot placement when you step up. If you overshoot it a little up, or you don't quite make it all the way up, it's not that big a deal because you're mainly going to the side and you'll reset it anyways when you bring the foot in. Okay? So when you do this move, it turns. And one thing I didn't mention, but you might have seen when we were doing it, is that there's a rotation in the wrists. So assuming that you have good turning and shifting, the hands actually flip over. So I use some keywords: shift, turn, switch. Okay, another one is flip. The hands will flip over, they turn over. Okay, just like you're turning a doorknob, the hands will turn over. And they turn over because of the waist. Stepping up. Here's the shift. When you do the shift, you don't actually shift all the way. Okay, it's really like begin shifting, begin switching, begin turning. Okay? And then listen again. Begin shifting, begin switching, finish shifting, finish switching, finish turning. So you have the beginning and ending. These things overlap a little bit. So we don't really shift all the way and then switch. But for now, do that. Just know in the future you'll start to smooth it out. Shift, switch. When you switch, see the left palm's facing me, the right palm's down. Turn the right toes in. Okay? The flipping, flip. Release, step in. Okay? So we could call that right there the transition into cloud hands. Once we're in cloud hands, we can just repeat. But watch the transition again. Turn, flip the hands, release the back heel, step up, shift until I feel rooted or grounded, or I feel most of my weight on that left leg. Once I feel grounded, I can switch the hands and I begin turning, and the toe turns in. Okay? Again, I'm sure I look kind of robotic to you. That's to help you see the detail. Then you keep shifting, keep turning, and the hands flip over again. You keep shifting, keep turning, and the hands flip over again. Step in. When you step in, you have a couple options. It's very challenging to bring the feet all the way together. If you want to do that, that's okay. It's just it'll be real challenging on your balance, and you won't have as much of a sense of shifting. You can bring it in just a little bit, and you can have a good sense of shifting. Something in between is probably preferred. It just feels like comfortable. That feels like about right. I have the feet far enough apart that I can feel my shift going back, and then proceed with my switching of the hands and turning. Okay. Now I'm in cloud hands. I can repeat it a couple of times so you can watch for the details. There's a step. Body's turned. There's a step. There's a shift until I feel a certain amount of weight. I feel grounded here, and not all of it, but most of it, or a good sense of feeling grounded on that left side, where I have some leverage to lift and turn. So the hands come up, the hips, waist are turning, and then the rest of the weight goes here. You see the legs straightening out finally, and then you step. Kind of think of it like a slinky. I'm emptying a certain amount of weight here, and then eventually the next part comes in, and then goes again, and at some point the rest of it continues. You have that cycle, the yin and yang of it. Okay, watch one more time. Turn, step up, shift, turn, follow through, step. Now I'm just in repeats. I can go again, and again, and again, and again. When you're learning this and you're watching me, watch first for what the feet are doing, watch second for the waist, watch third for the shoulders, which is really part of the waist. If you see the shoulders turning, that means the waist is moving.